Okay, hello guys. Welcome to another session of the No Code Africa Bootcamp. It's really good to have everybody here. I am going to drop an information on the group to inform everybody that we are live. Okay, so if at all you're here, please just drop some comments for me. Drop some comments for me. Let me know where you're joining from and how you're feeling today, if that's okay by you. Um, and also let me know whether you can actually hear me. Okay. Okay. Hello guys. I am still waiting for your comments. If at all you can hear me, just let me know that you can hear me. Just drop some comments for me in the comment section. Let me know that you can hear me. Okay. Nerd, good to have you here. Am I audible enough? Please just let me know if you can hear me. Okay. So we don't have a good number of people yet. So we're just going to wait for a couple of minutes to get some persons in the class. In Infon, good to have you here. Nerd, yes, we're going to get started soon. Today we're going to start our backend for the real estate application. Okay, so let's just wait for a couple of persons to just join. Then from there we can, get right at it. Uh, Hi, Favor, good to have you here. Okay. All right. Let's if you can invite other people to join, that would be great. You can just reach out to some persons that you've connected with before in the bootcamp and just let them know that the class has started. And we just have to have a good number of people before we can start. Okay. Today's class won't be so long. We are going to just focus on our backend, more of in authentication. Yeah, with Firebase. Okay. Uh, Good day. Hi, Favor. Neonda. Good to have you here. Um, Great. Joining from Abuja. Okay. So let's just wait for everybody else so we can start. Um, yep, that's it. Okay. All right. So the number of people that we have is actually increasing. So we're going to start very soon. We have just 1 minute left before we start. So today we're going to be working on, we're going to continue working on the real estate mobile application. And for today's session, we're going to actually start building the backend for our application. So I'm going to be showing you how to set up authentication for an application, and we're going to be using Firebase. If at all you actually desire to learn how to use Superbase, you can check the YouTube channel. I recently published a tutorial on how to use Superbase in your application. Okay. Nebechi, I think that's the only part of your name I can pronounce. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Akemini Francis, good to have you here. Okay, so all right, so we're already 5 minutes after the start time, and I have shared the link to the community. Hopefully, we can get a good number of people joining us. So, just one more minute. Let me just ensure that this is done properly. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's go. All right. I'm going to share my screen, and then we can start learning immediately. So I'm presenting my screen now, and we can start learning. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen, and also let me know if you can actually hear me. Nobody actually told me that they could hear me, so I'm going to stop sharing quickly just to be sure that you guys can hear me. Please just let me know you can hear me if you can hear me, because I'm going to start presenting, and it wouldn't be nice that I have already started teaching and then somehow I wasn't audible at all. So please just drop a comment for me, letting me know that you can hear me if you can hear me. I just want to be sure that I can be heard. I'm still waiting. Okay, so thank you very much, Inimfun. Okay, so let me share my screen and then we can have the class. So this is where we stopped. We stopped here in the last class. We're going to continue from here, but this time around we're not doing front end. So we will be doing a mixture of front end and back end in our application. All right. So that's like basically what we're going to be doing. So today I'm just going to talk about authentication and how to connect this particular project to Firebase. Okay. So the way applications are built is that you get to build the front end first, and then you go ahead and then start building the back end. Well, in some cases, you can actually start building the back end first and then create APIs and connect it to your front end. Some traditional developers do it like that, right? But in this case, for you to build with FlutterFlow, you actually have to start with front end, which is what we started with in the very first place. So we've built like 5 screens here, and we're going to go ahead and then use it. So here, from what I can see here, we have a login form. For us to log in, we need to actually have a create account part, and I think this is it. Yeah, but we didn't do that. This is to create account. Yeah, we didn't do this, so I think we have to just like quickly do that. So let's do this first, and from there we start the backend. So here we have our screen for creating an account. So what we just need to do right now is this particular screen looks similar to this in a way. So I'm just going to right click on this and then duplicate the page. Now when I have here, it says here login underscore form copy. I will come here and then just rename it. Let's see how it's been named here. So it says register. So I will just call this register. Okay. Now we don't have this image here on top, so I'm gonna delete it off. We have these icon here instead. So what I'm going to do is I can go ahead and use the app bar. All right, let me show you how we can set that up. So I can click on this to bring up the app bar, right? Then I will click on the app bar and I will click to change the background color of the app bar, and I will use a secondary background color to make it white. Okay, and then we have this black line under here. That's because of the elevation having a value of 2. So I'm just going to change it to 0, and now we no longer have that black line. Okay, then we can click this to close this, and inside here we have a button here, and then we have a text here, right? So I'm going to delete it. Or before I do that, let me just delete one of it, this one. And then now I have this one. I want to go ahead and just add, I'm going to right click on this and wrap this in a row. Okay, so now it's inside here. And I'm going to delete that thing out. And I'm going to go ahead and add an icon. So I'm adding an icon here. This is the icon I'm adding. And I will come here to where you can change the type of icon. So I'm going to come here and search for left. Well, I'm looking for an icon that can look like this. All right, like this. So I'm going to check here and I'll see something similar like this. So I'm picking that. I will come here and click on the design in Figma. All right. And I will try to find the color. If I click here, I should see the color. This is the gray soft, and I can just click this to release the color code so I can see it. And then I can just copy it and then bring it to FlutterFlow, paste it here in the color code section. After that, I will, first of all, I need to take into consideration the size of this icon. It's 50 by 50 pixels. And I will come here and increase this to 50 because it says the icon size, so 50. That's it. So we have these now. The next thing we need to do is, this place says create your account. So I will just copy this. So what did it say here? It said, let's sign in. So we'll click here. We're using a rich text here. So I'm just going to paste this here. Create. All right. Then here, I'm going to just copy what we have here for the second part of the rich text, this one. So it says create your account. I can just click here to give a space here. All right. Okay, so now we're good. The next thing we need to do is, we have this text here. It's more like a dummy text, like you could put something there. Okay, it's already here. Then we have full name. All we just need to do is actually duplicate these components, this container that we have all of this. So I'm just going to click, right? Then just click on Command D or Control D to duplicate it. So now I have another one here. So the next thing I need to do is click on the main container that contains, that envelopes the entire thing. And now I have these. So I'm going to just copy this text that says full name. And I'll look for an icon for the profile here. So here, I'll just click on the text field, scroll down, look for where we have the label property and paste full name here. All right. So now that we have done this, we just need to go ahead and click on this icon and change it to, let's say, profile. Okay. And we can pick this one. That's fine. We can pick this. Okay. So we have that and full name. The next thing we need to do is email and password. That's okay. Then we have these terms of service and show password. We wouldn't need this one, so we just need terms of service. Okay, so I will just click here and change this one to terms of service. All right. Okay, so now that we have done that, what else do we need to do? We have here register. Okay, so now the thing is this, we will put a button here. All right, so I will click on the column and I'm going to add a button. This is the button. The button is going to have an infinite width. Let me change the text of the button first to register. Okay, and then I'm making it have an infinite width, and it's going to have some sort of padding here, which is going to be 24 and 24, just so that it can be uniform. And then I'm going to say 24 and then 24. Let's go see the real height of it. This is 63. Let me copy the color. All right, the height of this button is 63. So I'm going to come over here and I see the height and I'll say 63. There you go. Then I can paste the color of the button here where we have the fill color. So now it looks good, but we have this, right? We have this, and it's actually not in the design. So we can just take it off. All right, let's take it off and take this off too. I think it should have, let's close this actually. It should have something here that says, this is the create account screen. Normally, if at all you have a create account, you should have something here that says already have an account, sign in. So we need to put that here. This one, we're going to drag it and take it downward. So I'm going to click to close this and pull it down. All right. So then this one, let's see, we need to give it some padding. I'm going to hold down my option key. You can hold down Alt to see the spacing around it, 24 pixel. And I will just go ahead and add 24 pixel here. Then for this one, we can just change this to have an account, or then we can say sign in. Sign in. That's it. Okay, so this is it, and we are good so far. If we come back here, we can see that we have done like something really interesting. And then I think this is where we can continue working on the back end. All right, so here we have a couple of screens. And before we continue, I will show you something called the storyboard. So the storyboard is the the part of the FlutterFlow dashboard that shows you how your screens are connected. So right now we don't have anything in our storyboard, like any connection. That's why you see this screen just standing alone. All right, but when they are connected, you're going to see some lines showing that they're connected. I don't know why that always likes to crash. Okay, so it's just reloading now. Let's go ahead and go back to our screens, and we're going to start with the splash. So for you to set up all of this, like we need to have an entry page. This is our entry page, the splash screen. And the way it works is that when the user comes here, they will, like when they click to open the application, they will just spend some time here. Well, depend on how long you want them to spend. For me, I can set for just 2 or 3 seconds for them to like spend here. So I will come over here to the widget tree and I'll click on the scaffold. I want to add something called a time delay or a wait delay. All right, so I will click on the action button here. So we have action, we have properties, and then we have the query, add query, and we have this is the animations, and then the page states, local states. So here is what we want to go to. Then we will click on add an action, and we will be looking for something called wait delay. So this is it. And we want to delay for just about 3 seconds. That's 3000 milliseconds. And that's it. So, but the thing is this, if you don't want to wait, you can just click on let's start, and then when you click on let's start, let's add an action to it. It's going to take the user. So when you click on this, it's going to take the user to, let's come here to navigate to where? To sign in. It's usually, login, let's say login form. All right. Then let's click these and change it to instant. It can be any form of transition that you want. If you want it to slide right up, slide left, slide down or up, you can just select it here. But I'm using just instant. Okay. So if you click this you don't need to wait until it's 3 seconds before it can automatically navigate. So you can just, hit let's start, and then it'll take you to the login form. That's the screen that you can actually use in logging into the application. So if you come here now to the storyboard, you see that there is now a connection. This is now connected to these. Okay, now let's continue building. On the login form, let's see the login form. This is how it looks like. The user gets to type in their email address here. So let's rename this and say email or login. Okay. Yeah, so this text field is called email login, and then this one is going to be what? Password login. Great. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and then connect our project to Firebase. So this is Firebase. So this is like their promise. They say make your app the best it can be with Firebase and generative AI. Build and run modern AI-powered experiences users love with Firebase, a platform designed to support your to support you throughout your app development journey, backed by Google and trusted by millions of businesses around the world. Beautiful. So basically what we're going to be using Firebase for is to store the the information that our user will give us when they're using our application. We will also use Firebase for authentication, for even, the payment integration in a way, right? So because that's where we talk about cloud functions. So Firebase is going to be doing a lot of things for us. So let's start seeing how we can use Firebase. If you come here to the settings, you're going to see a lot of things. The very first thing I need you to pay attention to is we need to go to Firebase here. And then over here, what you're going to do is you're going to have to connect put the Firebase product ID here. And we don't have Firebase product ID. That means we have to create one. How do we create it? So we go to firebase.google.com. It will bring you here. Okay, that means you should have had like a Gmail account. Then you can just simply click on go to console, and it will bring you to console. And here you can click to create a project. I will click here to create a project. I'll call my project real estate app. I'll say real estate app. All right, then I'll click on continue. And then this is for Google Analytics. So we can turn it off because we're not going to be using it. And then I'll click create project. After a couple of seconds, right, this is not going to take up to a minute, it will, complete the provisioning process in our Firebase project. And then after that, we will be ushered into the dashboard for our Firebase project. So then from there, we can get the Firebase project ID. I just clicked on continue. And then now I'm clicking on the settings. This is how the Firebase project dashboard looks like. Then I'll click on project settings. I will come here and copy this particular thing. It says the project ID. So I'm copying all of these. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to bring it to FlutterFlow, and I'll paste it here. We're going to run into an error, but I wanted us to run into that so we can see it. So FlutterFlow does not have access to this Firebase account. Please add Firebase at flutterflow.io as an editor to this project. And that simply means that, yes, there is a Firebase project, but FlutterFlow, this is let me just click on that again so FlutterFlow does not have access to this Firebase project. Since we're here, all right, and we're trying to connect our FlutterFlow project to our Firebase, it doesn't have access to the Firebase account. And how can we do that? All right, it's like trying to get access to a certain Google document that you were not added to. All right, so you have to come over here and add that user, and that's where we go to users and permissions. And according to the error here, it says please add Firebase at flutterflow.io as an editor. So we're gonna come here, click on users and permissions, click on add member, and say FlutterFlow. Firebase. Why did that skip my mind? Firebase at flutterflow.io. Okay. So this is basically like FlutterFlow's email when trying to connect to Firebase projects. So this is it. And then now I'm going to select the role as an editor. I'll click on done. And okay, this one I have to delete this. And I'll click on add member. Now, after that, I can come back here and click on connect. It will tell me success. All right. Then I will go ahead and click on generate config files. Click to generate configuration files. Now, these are basically small, tiny bits of files that will, make your application run smoothly without errors. So you really need to not skip this particular process. Okay. So after this, we're going to go ahead and click on this particular icon to set up our Firebase. So it's called Firebase Setup Wizard. We're going to click on this, and it says here set up Firebase. So we're going to click on next step. And we've already connected a Firebase project. So we need to just click this and tell it, oh, yes, we want you to authenticate our users here, allow users to log into your app via Firebase. Yes. And then here, I also want you to automatically create a users collection. So for you to actually have like a database of users, you need to have a collection, which is more like a table that contains all the different information that FlutterFlow, Firebase will be using in authenticating the users into your application in FlutterFlow. So I will click on start building. All right, now we are done with this. We have a couple of errors: the authentication page setup and these two errors here. So I will click on it. It will bring me here. So these are the two errors. So we have something called the initial page, and then we have the logged in page. The initial page, that the whole of this is what we need to set up to remove this particular error. The entry page is going to be the first page that the user will see when they just click to open your application, and that's going to be the splash screen if you have one. And in this case, we have one. And then we need to go ahead and click on also add the logged in page, which is the page the user will see when they have actually logged into your application. So I'll click here. I want them to go to home full, which is the home, the home of our application. All right. And so now we don't have those errors anymore. Now the next thing we need to do quickly, we're going to come here to Firebase. I would like us to actually run into some errors and then fix them, but that would not really make sense. Let's just take this as like a regular process that you have to do first before you continue. So let's click on these, Firestore. I'll click on settings. I'll come here to where we have the Firestore rules. We need to deploy them. Okay, so I'll click to deploy the rules. So it now tells me it looks like you haven't used Cloud Firestore in this project. That's true, because I haven't come to Firebase to do what? To add authentication. Well, that's not the problem. To actually add the Firestore database here. So let's start with adding authentication. So now don't forget, this particular part is Firebase. This is not FlutterFlow. So I'm going to click on get started here. And then after a few seconds, it's going to show me the different ways Firebase can authenticate our user into the application. We want to use email and password, so we would turn it on and click on save. Wait for a couple of seconds, and that's done. The next thing we need to do is go to build and click on Firebase Firestore database and wait for a couple of seconds, and this loads up, and then you click on get started. So it's still loading up. Loading. Okay, so now it's loads up. So we're going to click on create database. This is a default location. You can leave it like that. And then here it tells you to whether you want to start in production mode or in test mode. We can just start straight up in production mode. So let's go. Here, we just click on create, and then our Firestore database would be created. After that, we need to go ahead and do something else called storage. Let's go ahead and click on build and go to storage and then turn it on. So here you can see, I'm going to click on get started again for storage and click on next and click on done. And once this is ready, we will come back here and click on deploy Firestore rules. And now it's not saying anything wrong. We're going to click on this and voila, that's it. It's working now. Okay, so now we have done a couple of things in our application. Now let's go to the part where we need to like set it up. In this place, we were supposed to add a button. I don't know why we didn't put the button. Yeah, I think we skipped that. My bad. Okay, I think I was designing this, and so I didn't see this part. So let's go ahead and just put this button. So I'm gonna come over here to where we have register and copy this button. Command C. Go to login form. Click on this and paste it. Now I have pasted it, but I can't see it. I need to come over here and click to make the screen scrollable so I can see it. You see? Now I need to push this thing around, and for me to see clearly, I have to click on widget tree, and then now I can see where the things I want to push around are. I'm going to click to close this. I'm going to click to close this. Okay, let's go to this row completely and close this, and this one and close it as well. Then I will come here and push this button. Okay, let's click on this and close this. Click the button, drag it to where we have this, and just leave it there. Okay, so now we have this. Okay, we have this. Let me click this and change this to 40. All right, so this is how our application looks like. Okay, so here it's going to be sign in instead of register. So I'm going to change the bottom text to sign in. All right, that's it. Don't have an account, register. Now let's go ahead and do some few things. Let's start with don't have an account, register. So I'm going to click on this, go to add an action, and I'm going to say navigate to what? To log in, to register, right? This is it. Change the navigation type to instant. That's it. Okay, so now we are done with this. How then do we go ahead and, make our user to sign into this application? We have to do that by clicking on the sign in button and adding an action to that. That means we're saying whenever our user clicks on the sign in button, this is what I want it to do. So I'm going to add the action here. The action is going to be a backend, slash database action. And I'm going to come over here to where we have Firebase authentication. And then we see here this create account, login, phone sign in, log out. So I want to do login. It's going to ask me who is your authentication provider. We have a couple of authentication providers here, but the one we selected is Gmail. And then here I'm going to it's asking me where is the email field we're going to use to check if the user is, in our database. So I'm going to click here and say whatever the user types in this field called email login. And then this one, this is the password, whatever the user types in here. Okay, don't worry, passwords are automatically encrypted by Firebase. Now, the next thing that I need to do is, I think that's all of it. This is for this. And okay, let's come here to the Google sign-in. So I would just click here and add an action, go to add action, and the backend database, Firebase authentication, login. This time around, authentication provider is going to be Google. All right. I will just copy this. Let me just copy this action and click on this particular one. Okay, I'm supposed to paste this, but for us to set up Facebook, we need to put up ID and all of that. So let's leave this. We leave it as it is for now. Okay, so now we have this. Our user can actually get to sign in. Okay, if we come back to the storyboard, we'll see that a couple of things have even been connected to. So from here, you come here. When you click on sign in, it's going to take you to this homepage, right? And then if you click on here, it's going to take you to here. All right. And that's it. If you click here, it takes you to here as well. Sorry, if you click here, it takes you to here as well. All right. So let's go ahead and see what to do next. For us to continue, we have to click on register, the button register, the page called register. And we need to go ahead and then rename this text field. This text field is going to be called full name. And here is going to be called email. And this one is going to be called password. And this is our button for register. So let's click on this and give it some action so that if the user, comes here and, remembers, I already have an account, they can click to go back to, the sign in. So login form. I'll click here and say instant. And then here, this is where we click to add an action to this. I'm going to click here, click to add an action. It's going to be a backend database action, Firestore. Sorry, not Firestore. Firebase authentication, create account. Authentication provider is email. And then the field is going to be the email here. And then this one is going to be password. And we have an extra field here, which is full name. So we can click to add another field here. And we will say, we'll change this to, it says display name. So yeah, I can click that. It's asking me, do you want to store the information, from a specific value, or you want to, store it from a variable? I want it to be a variable. Whatever the user types in the state of the widget called full name. So every single widget like this one, they have a soul, they have a content. They'll have something typed inside it. And so that thing that they type inside it, or the thing that holds the things that that is being typed inside, it's called the state. All right. And so we're now saying that, okay, store the value of whatever is being typed inside here in this field called display name in our database for users. These are the fields that we have in the database for our real estate application. Okay, so I believe that you're getting this thing, and the next thing that we're gonna do, which is I think that's almost like it. I'm gonna click on here to launch the debug mode of our application. All right, I'm just clicking here. I should have done that ever since because this takes like 2 minutes. So this is the debug mode. It's going to allow our application run here. So let's see. I'm gonna do two things. So first of all, I'm trying to run it here, and then another thing, another beautiful thing, is the web deployment. Okay, so for you to actually, you can actually view normally, since it's a mobile application, you're supposed to install it in your mobile phone. That's your Android in this case. You can't really install it in iOS except you publish it into App Store. So, but for Android, you can actually go ahead and come here to where we have the developer menu. You see where to view code. This is where to view code. Let me just click so you can see. This is where to view the codes that runs your application. All right. And then this one is where you can connect the GitHub repository. You can download your code. You can download the APK. Now, this is where you can click to download the APK and then install it in your Android device. Okay. But let's say you also want to test the application without having to go to, without having to install it in an Android device and without running it here. Another thing you could do is run it on the web, and that's where we have web deployment under settings. Okay, and so here this is supposed to be the link to your site's URL, so I just copied that and we can paste it here. But the thing is, since we have not published it to the web yet, we're only going to see an error here by Baby Yoda and telling us may the force be with you. So that's it. The page doesn't exist yet because we haven't published it. How do we do it then? We have to click on the open platform settings, and then we're going to have to turn these button on, and then come back to web deployment, and then hit this button, publish. Okay, and so when you hit this button, you're currently publishing it to the web. When it is completed, you will see a link here. You send information telling you that it has been completed, and you can now check it on the web. But here's our application. Actually, let me do an instant reload so we can see our application, how it looks like in the debug menu of the FlutterFlow application. So I hope you're enjoying this tutorial. And if at all it's your first time or you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please just hit the subscribe button and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And like this video as well, because it's super educational. So now it's waiting for 3 seconds, right? It's actually supposed to navigate, but for some reason it hasn't navigated yet. Let me see. I don't know why it didn't navigate, but let's click on this. I'll check that later. Let's click on this. It brings me here. Now, the reason why we have this is because of the fact that there's a dark mode turned on. So we can actually come here to FlutterFlow and come here and turn this off for now. Okay. Then we can click here. We just have to reload this. And while we're reloading that, let me see what happened in that splash screen. So here I added the action to the scaffold, which is the correct thing to do. Oh, I see. So there's a wait delay, but I did not add an action to take the user after the delay to somewhere else. So I'm adding an action now to navigate the user to the login form, and the transition type is instant. Okay. Now I'm clicking on this. I'm going to click to hit an instant reload again, and then we can actually see what we have. Okay. I hope that you're learning. You can drop questions for me while I'm teaching. So once I stop, I can answer the questions. Okay, but it has to be within the context of the class. Okay. All right. So here, exactly, you see it waited for about 3 seconds there and then brought us here. All right. So here we can just go ahead and try to sign in. I'm just going to type my email address, and put in some password. All right, I can click this to toggle my password on and off, and I can click sign in. It will tell me that the supplied authentication credential is incorrect. Well, it's because I don't have an account yet in the application. There's nothing here. If you come to the Firebase project, you will see that there's no user collection created here. If you go to authentication, there's no user here. But if we go ahead and come here and click on register, and then I type in my name, David Org, and then I'm typing in my email, all right, and then I put in some password. If I put 6 and I try to register, it will tell me, I think it's supposed to be 8 actually. Okay, it didn't give me any error, but I put in 6 passwords there. So this is it now, and it brings me to the home page of the application. And this is the expected outcome for what we have done so far. Yes, this is expected outcome, but we have some errors here, like overflow errors, and so we will fix them. Okay, so let's come here to this the FlutterFlow dashboard, and I'll come to homepage full, and here we have some errors. So it's not like error, it's just it's an overflow error. I'm gonna just zoom this in so you can see. It says here overflowed by 2 pixels. I'm gonna come over here and try to see where that problem is from. So I'm gonna reduce this to 14. Okay, and let me reload this. When I reload that, I think that particular error should have been gone. The overflow is caused as a result of the fact that the screen is smaller than the fixed width according to as a result of padding and the rest of the things. So here the error, that first error is gone. All right, and I'm gonna click here to add a padding like an app bar, but nothing will be there. I'm gonna click here to add an app bar, and I will click I'm gonna delete this, and I'll click here to delete this, then click here to change it to secondary background, and then fix this as 0. Okay, the reason why I'm doing that is so that we can have this come down a bit, so I can hit an instant reload, and we would have gotten a better outcome. All right, so the next thing we need to do, let's just wait and see the result of what I have just implemented. Okay, so now it comes a bit better. It shows here, it's brought down a bit. And here it says Jonathan, right? We don't want it to say Jonathan. We want it to say the name of the authenticated user, which is David. So I'm going to click here, all right? And I'm going to click this place. Okay, not this place, this one. And I want this value here to come from the database. So I'm going to come here to authenticated user, and I'll say display name. Okay. So if I do that, I'm going to fix that on something else. Now there's another one here. This is an overflow error for house. I think, I don't know why we have that. Overflow error. Okay, it's not scrollable. Yeah, it's not scrollable. I think that's why. So let's click here and try to make it scrollable then. I'm going to remove the padding here. I'm going to make it like a carousel. I'm going to right click on this. Let's look at the height first. The height here is 47. I'm going to click on this, right click on it, and wrap the widget in a container. The container's height will be 47 as well. The width is going to be infinite. Good. Then I will go ahead and click on this row, right click on it, and wrap it in a widget called list view. Then I will click here to say I want whatever is here to be horizontal. So now we can have these, it's something that can scroll down. So if that's the case, if I reload this, it's not going to give us that error anymore, because now you're telling it that, okay, that particular space is not fixed. It should be able to scroll. All right, so after a couple of seconds, we will see that. Now, okay, so now, yeah, this error is gone. Let's give some padding here to the container. Let's give some padding like 15. Okay, so now we have some space. Now, yeah, so that means we'll have some space between these and these. So let's try to fix something else. There's an error here. It says bottom overflowed by 3.5 pixel. Let's come here and see how that happened. So I think it's going to be the container here that gave that error. So I'm going to change the height to, what did it say? 3.5, and here we have 56, so I'll say 52. Yep. Okay, then I'll click on these. Let's look for it. This is 52, and here I'm clicking on this to change this to 52 as well. Okay, and what else? I think that's about it. If I click on this, if I click on instant reload, it's going to reload the application, and those errors would have been gone. I don't know if you had observed that the name is now my name. It's no longer Jonathan. Yep, so let's see it again this time. All right, so here we have, hey David the Rog, let's start exploring. And so this is it, really cool. We have this very beautiful design. All right, so I hope that you have been able to learn a lot from this tutorial so far. One thing I'm gonna do next is, let me see the application and see where the designer had placed the logout button. There is no logout, but I think it's gonna be from when you click on the settings. Yeah, well, not exactly. Okay, so the user is supposed to actually just like log out, and but we don't have that here, so we can't like really log out, except let's just put something for just testing. Where do I put that? I'm going to um, I'm gonna put it here. Let's see, icon. I'm gonna put an icon. It's gonna be this is gonna be my icon. It's going to be exit. Okay, exit icon. I'm gonna make it red, and I'm gonna say 24. Okay, maybe not that serious. Okay, yeah, we might have some issues there. Let me remove this padding. It's just for learning purposes. So let's add an action to these just to help us log out. I'm gonna add an action to that icon, this one, and I'll come to backend Firebase authentication and log out. That's it. So I'm gonna come over here and click on instant reload, and that will be the end of our tutorial for today. So this particular class was just to show you how to authenticate your application, view codes in your application, see how it works, and then web publish. Okay, now that I've done that, let's click on this first to just see how it works. It takes us back here, and it brings us here, of course. Okay, so now we've gotten that. Let's come back here to the web publish part, and we're gonna see the link. It says here it has been deployed 9 minutes ago. We can come back to the page for Baby Yoda, like where we had the arrow page. We can just click to reload this. I will click on these, go to more tools, go to developer tools, so it can appear as a mobile application. All right. Yeah, otherwise it's gonna just appear like a website. But now I just had to click on that to show it as a mobile application. So this is it. It just shows on the web. If you observe, it shows here on the web. Okay. And the thing is, we have to publish we have to update this with the latest functionalities in our application. So we have to click on publish to update it. So because otherwise it's gonna have the same old information we had before. In fact, let's click on this. You see, it has this dark background. As at then, we did not turn off the dark mode. Okay, so that's about it. I hope that you've learned a lot from this class. And just remember to like the video, drop some comments. I will be taking questions now. Okay, so I think we have some questions. Okay, so yeah, you can actually start from the beginning. Just make sure that you join the community on Telegram, and you will be able to see like previous messages. You can just click to follow. All right. Um, Thank you very much, Inimfon. You see how we built an application in a very short time. We did authentication really quick. You said here some FlutterFlow devs prefer to use even numbers for padding. Well, it depends on your preference, really. Yeah, you can actually use. Well, I think you actually supposed to just follow what is on the design. You will see what the UI UX designer had already provided in the design. So you just follow it. Yours is to just replicate it. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's even or odd, like the 15 that I use. It doesn't matter. So you're supposed to just focus on what is in the design. All right. Okay. By design, I mean the UI UX design. So here I have, can the scrollable feature that's in the row edit bar be used in place of list view for horizontal scrolling? Scrollable feature that's in the row edit bar. I don't think so, really. But this is one of the ways to create the carousel. I haven't tried what you just mentioned. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I will try to experiment on it. If you try it and it works, just let me know. You can come back and comment here that, oh, I tried it, it worked. Yeah. But the standard way of doing it is just to, use the list view and then make it horizontal. Okay. So can you tell us, okay, this is like, can you tell us how to make a Telegram mini app in Flutter? That's Telegram is very complex. It's a very powerful application. Yeah, but it's very possible. We can actually create like a demo, like a simple version of Telegram using FlutterFlow. I would actually like to do that for real. I'm going to consider doing this. I will try to see if I can find UI UX designs on on Figma. If I can find the UI UX designs on Figma, I will try to do this. Yeah, we can try. I can create like a pre-recorded course on this. Yeah, thanks for bringing that to my notice. I think I like the idea. Okay. I can't really remember where you were referring to, but I know that I didn't like follow entirely exactly what was there in the design. But yeah, you should just follow what is in the design, the UI UX design. Okay, so other than use data collection, how to add other details to database? Okay, so we were just focusing on just putting this information, like doing authentication today. What you're asking right now is called CRUD. That's create, read, update, and delete. And if you want to like really learn this, you can just check create a recording on Firebase and how to connect them in FlutterFlow. Create a recording on Firebase. You don't necessarily need to create something on Firebase and then connect it in FlutterFlow. You can set up an action to actually put the information in Firebase for you. All right. So that's like the idea. We're gonna cover these at some point, right? I even created a course where we have a CRUD. That's you're using CRUD in Firebase, and recently I even published another course for CRUD that's create, read, update, and delete using Superbase. So nerd, you can just check it out. You're welcome. Thank you too. Yeah, this is okay. Let me just answer this question really quick. Let's go to let me just like share my screen again. Yeah, since the class was just gonna be for 1 hour, so I think we're almost done. Let me show you, nerd. This is what I mean. Okay, so um, how do I do this? I'm trying to see how to go about it. Okay, let's say let me click on the column here. Let me copy this. Okay, let's just click on the column here, and then I'm gonna add a text field. I'm gonna add a text field. No, not a text. Let me click on the column, make it scrollable. All right. Then not a text. Okay, you are saying how to get it from Firebase. So let me answer your question first. So that might even be simpler. Let me come over here to, let me come over here. This is the text, just normal text that says hello world. If I come here, let's say I want to put something inside, let me come to Firestore database. You said you want to put something here, and then you can see it in FlutterFlow. I can show you that. So you can just come here to the Firestore, click to create a new collection. Let's just say stuff. Okay. And a collection is more like a table. So I'll click to create it. Now I need to set up the schema for the table. So I will just say text, right? This is going to be a data type called string and this. All right. Then I can say date. This is going to be a date time. And then I click on this. So now that I have done this, if I come to Firebase and like reload it, I wouldn't see the things that I I wouldn't see that table that I created because nothing is inside it, so it can't show you anything. And so the way you do it is you can click on manage content, because with manage content, which is a part of the FlutterFlow dashboard, you can automatically put stubs inside your Firebase. Okay, so now I can see my user collection and I can see my stuff collection. All right, so my user collection, it shows the only user here. Then my stock collection, nothing is inside. I can click to add a document here, and I can just say, I told you so. And then I click here, and then I pick the date, for instance, tomorrow, and like this, and I click to add a document. Now that I've added it, if I come here and reload it, okay, I will see the document in Firebase. Now this is it, stuff. It has one document, and this is the detail of it. I told you so. Now, if I come over here and I want to show it in the application, I will just come over to this place, come here to where I have add query. I'm going to query this, the database. It's going to ask me to choose a collection, and I'm querying stuff. I want maybe a list of documents, and I click to confirm. And that's it. But now it's not going to show me a list of documents because this thing is not wrapped in something called list view. So I'm going to right click on it and wrap it in a list view widget. Okay. Then I will have to like do this all over again. So click on this, add query, query collection, stuff, list of documents, confirm. Okay, now, oh, sorry, command Z. We're gonna add the query to the list view, actually. The list view, come here, add query, query collection, stuff, list of documents, confirm, confirm. Now it shows me here. It's gonna show me a list of different things that I'm putting in the database. So now I can click on just the text and then come here to the property part and then click on here. I will see the query document, query collection. I'll click here and say text. Whatever was there will now be here. All right, so if I come over here now and reload this, let me show you. So that's basically how it is. Now that I am here in Firebase, okay, I can automatically also add another document. Like I can click here to add a document and say bands. Then, oh, sorry, the document ID, I don't have to put anything there. I just have to click on auto ID and then paste this here. The type is, the field is, okay, now I'm going to be doing it manually. This was supposed to be text, right? I'm going to type the name of the field, text. The value is going to be bands. Then I'm going to save it. You have to be sure. That's why you shouldn't be putting it here. When I started teaching on YouTube here, I was doing it wrongly, actually. So I was adding the value here and then going to FlutterFlow, but you don't do it like that. So here I have these value, right? Bands and all of this. So, and then you have to make sure that the spellings are correct. So that's why it's not even advisable to do it here. You have to come to, you can just come here and use the, what is it called? the CMS system, content management system here. So now I have this thing. If I come here and log in, let me log into the application. And then from there, we can see what we can make of it. So I'm gonna like log in, and now it brings me here. It actually shows me some errors. It tells me run mode only notification, Firestore security rules, error on list view, missing or insufficient permissions. Okay, so this one is just basically a small error, which we can fix by coming to Firestore, and then we can come to settings, and then change these particular uh, information here for, let's just change this to, let's say, everyone, and maybe you can check this and deploy, and then deploy now. Yeah, so like this, we can now go ahead and just reload this simply, and we won't have that error anymore. And that way, we're going to be on our way to seeing what we had already put in our database. So we have two information here, and we're going to see it in the design. Okay. So I believe that I have successfully answered your question. You're going to learn more about this later. So if you can see it here, so this is where you have that information. So bands and I told you so. They are all coming out dynamically. All right. So this is how you can bring it. Okay. All right. Yes, I will. I will talk about that eventually. Okay. So thank you. And I have one last question. I was trying to develop job vacancy posting applying, and yeah, I can't just make courses for everything, but I will consider. I will consider it. I have used more Firebase compared to Superbase, and to the best of my knowledge, because of usage, I think Firebase is better. When I start experiencing more of Superbase, I will possibly give a better opinion. So FlutterFlow is not just for mobile apps. You can also use it to build web applications. Okay. So you said, what about bots like Notcoin and TypeSwap? I don't really understand what you mean here. Okay. Are you talking about building bots? Building that bots using FlutterFlow? Okay, so I think we have reached the end of the class, and thank you very much for